Hi, my love. This is going to be your one question fall theme reading. For the reading, I'm going to be working with my Halloween Tarot, the Oracle of Oddities, and I'm probably also going to pull from the Trigger Tarot. Your question. So your question is, we're going to be focusing on the situation between your daughter, and yourself as a parent, your role. I'm not going to give too much information because I just feel like it's a little bit personal. But basically, we're going to look at your situation and also pull cards for your role as a parent, and how you should, approach the situation with your daughter. So the first thing I want to do is, I want to pull for both of you guys. So I'm going to pull on your energy. I'm also going to pull on her energy and what she needs. So let's do that first. Let's pull on her. So your daughter right now. What does your daughter need from you as a parent regarding this situation? What does your daughter need from you right now? Okay, so we don't have any jumper cards. We have the Page of Bats, we have the Four of Ghosts, we have the Sun. Ooh, the Heart Chakra. The Root Chakra. The Solar Plexus Chakra. Wow. She needs a lot of energy from you in different aspects, from her, but it's more, to me, it's more just a support is what I'm seeing. Excuse me. For one thing, you have a double sun here. The sun and the sun, like the solar plexus chakra and the sun card, which is telling me that she's requiring, or she needs, your optimism. When you feel good about a situation and when you're positive, when you're smiling, oh my gosh, I'm getting like black on my hands from from the black. I backed the cards, I blacked them out and stuff. So that's why my hands look all dirty. It's still rubbing off. So what I'm seeing is with the sun cards is that she's requiring, or she needs you to be emotionally okay with situations. If you're not good, she's not good. If you're not feeling it, she's not feeling it. And I feel like that's right now, that's what what she needs from you, is that she needs your reassurance on things, is basically. But she's not going to act like she needs it, because I feel like that Four of Ghosts kind of reveals like that you'll give her advice and she may not take it. She may not be serious about it. She may not take it seriously, even though she is listening. But I feel like she's at that age right now, or she's of that age where Page of Bats, like, I want to do it my way. I want to do it my own way. I know what's best for me because it's what I want. I feel like that's like the energy that she is coming around with this. And I feel like this sun card is almost like she just wants, she's only seeing the good things. She's not seeing the negativity, the negative potentials. She's not seeing the future. She's just in the moment. And I feel like it's like everything is just kind of, everything is in the moment for her. But what she also requires, I feel, is like your stability, is you to be the grounded person in the situation, but she needs you to be okay with what she's doing, to show those emotions, because if you don't, I feel like she automatically senses it and then it's going to bug her. So as long as you're okay, she's okay, kind of a thing. Oh, I can't believe my hands are all black. I also feel like the heart chakra is that what she needs of you is love, unconditional love. She needs your support. She needs your happiness. All of those simple things, which they seem so simple until it's like you have to give it. Then it's like so difficult. So it's interesting that she got all chakra cards for what she needs of you. Now, what do you need to give as a mother? So I'm going to use the other deck for you. What do you need to provide? What do you need to give as a mother? The Knight of Pentacles, the Strength, and the Ace of Wands. I love it. Heart chakra. As her mother, goddess. I love it. Nexus. Okay, for like literally as goddess, like as the goddess coming up, I immediately heard unconditional love. The goddess comes below strength, and I feel like this is like the strength. I don't know if you have a patron goddess, like if there's a goddess that you work with, but if you do, then just know that I feel she's coming through in the reading for you. So I don't know what your beliefs are with that aspect, but if you do resonate with a certain goddess, she's coming forward. And I feel like what she's saying is you need to provide unconditional love to your daughter. I feel like the Nexus, to me, this is kind of saying like, you know, being overall open to anything and everything, okay? Understanding that there's good and bad in any situation. The situation with your daughter, she has to make her own mistakes, for one thing, okay? That comes with life and with growth. She has to make her own mistakes. Because if she doesn't make mistakes and she's constantly protected by you, she won't learn, you know? She won't evolve into her own being, her own version of who she needs to be for herself. And as much as it's hard for you to see that, and it's hard for you to just stand back and watch her go through things, that's what she needs to do. To an extent, obviously you're a mother, you're her mother, you're going to want to step in when things get a little bit crazy, right? But what I'm seeing is like in her evolving in her own skin and who she is, by her coming out and her starting her journey of, you know, living her life authentically herself, she has to make her own decisions, you know, within means, because she still is young, you know, she's not 18, so she has to still mind you as well. But the Knight of Pentacles is coming up for you, and I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is asking you to keep an eye on your daughter, but the Knight of Pentacles is not quick to action. They're a very patient of the Knights. They're very calm. They're grounded because they're of the earth energy. So I feel like the situation is that be mama bear. Like I totally see that with the bear in the card for strength. You're going to be a mama bear. You're going to be her protector. You're going to be her strength. You are her foundation, right? Her rock of strength. And be there for her in the background. So she knows that she always has you to turn to and to run to when things get tough. Because things will get tough, you know. But be a gentle and have a patient approach to this thing, to this situation. Because she still has to make her own decisions and her own mistakes. Within means of her age, you know. Like keeping in mind also how old she is and whatnot. I also feel like the Ace of Wands is for you to, you know, you're there to kind of, I feel like this creature, it's almost like he's igniting the fire, but I'm also getting the sense of like you putting out the fire. So it's kind of like, you don't want to feed the fire. You don't want to make your daughter angry, and you don't want to make her to the point where she feels like she can't talk to you. Obviously, she could talk to you, and she feels that she can trust you to the point of her being able to come out to you. That was a big thing for her. And I feel like it's just continue to give her that motherly love, that be there for her, be her strength, you know, and whatnot. But you also have to kind of set your boundaries with yourself. You let her do her thing. You'll be there to pick up pieces, you know, when pieces break, because pieces will break. She's going to get hurt one way or another. We all do when we fall in love, when we are involved with people. It happens. It's life. It's part of life. And that's how she's going to evolve and grow and develop. But when you are there being a protector and a supporter for her, and that heart chakra, everything is unconditional love that you give to her, it'll be easy for her to come back to you when times get tough. You know what I mean? Like, she'll feel like she can trust you and talk to you versus shutting you out. So that's what you need to do, is providing as a mother, is patience, being there, being a strength. And also, if you do work with Goddess is asking you to work with her more, you know, have that approach, that essence of the Goddess that you are, you know, working with your daughter. Okay, so somehow that's going to play a role with you guys. So let's look at this situation from your aspect, because you had mentioned your past and your experiences with hateful, hurtful people. So let's look at that. Let's pull for you now. We have the King of Pentacles. We have the Three of Wands. We have the Hierophant. So, you know, growing up in a real strict family setting, the King of Pentacles, a father energy perhaps, you know, having a strict father, that kind of thing. The King of Pentacles can also display God, because I know that faith could have played a role in your past. Okay. And then also King of Pentacles can be your present with your husband. So, you know, there's a lot of ways that King of Pentacles plays a role. And it's interesting that it's the Pentacle card that comes through again with this situation, like when we're pulling for you, because you are being called to embrace the essence of a Knight of Pentacles, which is a very patient and kind of having a more hip or young or youthful approach or a mindset. Whereas a King of Pentacles with the Hierophant has a very outdated, a very rigid mindset. And so I feel like with this being like you're more of your past, it's like you were heavily influenced by rigidness, religion, you know, the dogmatic kind of approach to life. And that was your influence. And so when you dealt with hate in another aspect, that was how it affected you. And the males in your life, you know. And then I also feel like that Three of Wands was your, you know, you had a lot of secrets growing up. I feel like you have like all these little compartments in your mind. I feel like that's what this card represents. All of the secret compartments in your mind and your heart. And you would put things away, you know, you would have an interest in somebody that maybe people would kind of frown upon back in the day. But it was just the way you were, you know, your heart loved differently than other people. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like what you have since done is you compartmentalize a lot of your past into neat little boxes, you know? And some of this stuff hasn't come out in years until now, when your daughter is approaching you with her lifestyle and her changes and her mindset and her heart and how she chooses to love and express herself. And so I feel like it's bringing back some old things, and maybe that would be helpful for you, is to learn to dig into the old mindset, these old compartments that you've pushed aside for all these years. Tap back into that version of yourself. Remember who you were in that mindset when you were living a life similar to what your daughter is doing, so you can relate more. I love that the Hierophant came up too, because the Hierophant is so rigid and so traditional, and to me it's like, you don't want to go down that road. You don't want to go down that road. Even though maybe you were brought up a certain way and you see things the way they are, you're more open-minded. And so it's kind of like a fine line that you're on right now to, it's like a second chance for you to detach from the more dogmatic or rigid way of parenting that maybe you were brought up with, versus how you get to approach this parenting situation with your child. Okay. So I like that the Hierophant came up, because the Hierophant is like, there's some elements of traditional rules and, you know, some guidelines as being a parent. Obviously, your daughter is only a certain amount of years old. So it's like, to an extent, you're going to let her do her thing, but you still go in there and play mama, you know? You still play the role of being her mother when things get a little bit out of hand. So I feel like that Hierophant card is also coming up for you too, is to say, like, even though you don't want to be a rigid mother, or you don't want to be like, you know, a hypocrite, to an extent, sometimes you have to put in the rules and remind your daughter, hey, you could do things like this way and do this and this and this, but I'm still mother, and I still tell you, I still have a say in what you do. So I feel like also that's kind of like that's an avenue that you're going to be tapping into later on with your daughter. But I feel like she's going to be open to it. I feel like she does have a sass to her. She has her own mindset. She's a very Page of Swords energy, but even with that, there's still an element of respect. And I feel like the element of respect from her end will come to you as you being a big support system and a supporter, a person of strength to her. So it's like that energy exchange. What you give, she's going to give back to you. The oracle cards that I got for you is release, vision, and growth. So I feel like the release card is saying you got to let go of those memories of the past. Some of that shit that you compartmentalized into your brain, the stuff that you mentioned in your email to me that you went through in the past, the hate, the hurtful people, those are your own personal situations, your own personal memories, your own personal experiences. They're not your daughter's. And I feel like that's where that comes in, is saying, like, you got to release that. You got to let that go. And you can't let that influence the way you parent your daughter, because it's not her situation. And it may never be her situation. God forbid. Hopefully, it won't be her situation. You know what I mean? But if it does become her situation, you have that experience, that knowledge, that experience to relate to her. But for the meantime, I feel like it's saying release it. Don't let that stuff screw with you, you know? The vision card, the fact that there's eyes in this card makes me feel like you're being guided to open your eyes to the bigger picture, to see the situation from another point of view. So that hangman energy. And then also the fact that your experiences are going to put you in a different position to be able to relate to your daughter with maybe situations she'll go through in life. And so it'll all come full circle, like it'll all make sense. And then we have the growth card, which is again with the spine. And I feel like that growth card is just kind of saying, like, you and your daughter are going to grow together. You know, as your daughter's evolving with her love life and her situation, you're going to be evolving too with your own. And you're probably going to be teaching each other, you know. That's just the way it's going to go. But I feel like there's growth with this situation, this experience, you know, and you'll no longer be holding secrets, you know. I feel like you'll be able to open up some of these compartments, some of these memories, and you'll be able to share it with your daughter when she's at an age where you feel comfortable with doing that. And by sharing that piece of yourself with her, I feel like it's going to put you two on another level, another level with your relationship together. And I feel like it's going to be a really good thing. It's going to be a positive. So that's how I'm seeing this situation. I definitely feel like this is something that it's beautiful. Like, I feel like this is something that is going to evolve for the better, for the positive. I'm not going to pull on your daughter's situation, like her relationship and whatnot, because I know you mentioned you don't want me to, or you don't want to pry into that, you know, so I won't do that. But I feel like from the cards that I pulled, you already have it in you to be the most amazing mother, to give her the most amazing support and love. And I feel like that's something you have to learn to do, is when to butt in and when do you stand back and just observe. And as hard as it may be to see your daughter go through some really hard shit, you have to remember what you went through and how it shaped you and as you've grown. And if you lacked the parenting from your situation, if you lacked that, then that gives you this opportunity this time around to be that parent, to step in and have that conversation with her, or be that support system for her if she ever goes through anything, you know? And so it's just kind of beautiful how that works out. I don't know what it's like because I don't have kids, but I can only imagine how hard it must be to be a parent, to observe and know what life can be like, the ugly things in life, and then have to watch your child go through something. And it's like, you don't know how much of yourself is supposed to butt in, you know? But you also have to keep in mind, life is about making mistakes, and it's about growing from those mistakes. And as long as you're there for her and you're being a big supporter for her, she's going to be okay. And so I feel like, you know, feel it out, intuitively feel it out, and go approach it in that way. And I feel like you're going to be okay. I really do. I think that this is one of those things. It's just one of those things. And then also, like I said, keep in mind your daughter's age too. She's still very young, and she's very impressionable. So to an extent, you let her make her mistakes, but even then there is times where you will need to butt in. So you make that call. You are her mother and you know what's best. But she also needs to experience a little bit on her own to learn from her own choices. Okay. So I hope that this helped you out. I hope it gave you something to think about. If you have any questions about what I mentioned or what I read for, let me know. Send me an email. But other than that, my love, thank you for allowing me to read for you. And anyone who's watching, this was one of my fall themed readings. They're no longer available, but you can totally book a session with me by going to the website. The link is below. Check me out and book your session, and we'll pull your cards. All right, you guys, I will talk to you guys later. Bye, loves.